Hey, Garage Logic fans, Mishke here, slipping in ever so briefly to mention that I have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday and every Friday, twice a week now. The show is pretty much about everything you care about and are interested in and need in your life and want to know more about. I tailored the darn thing specifically to your liking. I tailored it to your loves, to your true passions. That took a long time. I'm spent. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely wasted.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1634, October 7th, 2025. 2 years ago today, Hamas tore up the Gaza Strip. 85 degrees on this day on three occasions, 1997, 2003, 2011, and as chilly as 25 degrees on this day in 1976. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you! And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I sense this is something important to correct, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but Kenny, being obstinate, insisted.
Give me a second, by the way.
That we've had both Barry Weiss on and Heather McDonald, and Kenny yesterday said, "Oh, that Barry Weiss when we had on her, she was terrible. She acted
mean, mean and aloof, very distracted."
And that wasn't Barry Weiss. That was Heather McDonald, and we have some audio to demonstrate to you that you might be setting straight. Now, do you have the dates of these?
Yes, but you're going to have to give me a second because when I have to play stuff from the archive, I have to go to a different system, not our website.
Well, I said before
is this going to be a long
Kenny had a little gut feeling that this was going to happen, or that this did happen. Now he may be proved wrong, and now he's really backpedaling.
Well, we just have to give it a moment. We're going to go into the archive.
The facts are in our ears, and it's however you want to hear this.
Okay,
which could it could be concocted in a production studio somewhere.
While Reavers is preparing,
kind of like the moon landing.
While Reavers, quiet, please.
Okay,
sorry, Your Honor.
While Reavers is preparing that, note that I believe Jim Rubin had kind words about Elizabeth Schaefer, a Minneapolis Park Board member who did wonders with Stevens Square Park. And he appreciated her efforts. She actually got something done, and it's a functioning, beautiful park. I'm noting now that Elizabeth Schaefer is running for city council in Ward 7. That would be a big improvement to get her on the city council. That seat is currently held by Katie Cashman, who's a very vacuous young woman and really doesn't have much to offer. Probably DSA leaning. Elizabeth Schaefer is DFL endorsed, but I'm comfortable in understanding about her that means DFL, not DSA. Okay. And she is running for Ward 7, which would be all up and down Nicollet and Hennepin over there between downtown and Lake Street. She'd be a wonderful start because Rubin is correct. The DSA must be eliminated. Their thinking is not worthy of any improvement in this city. And they have nothing to show for their leadership to date. So it's very important that new candidates get in there, and I hope Elizabeth Schaefer wins that seat. How are you doing?
I'm probably going to need to do this in the next segment because this Apple Spotify playlist is not cooperating with me currently.
Very interesting. When we were talking, Kenny, when we had a little banter back and forth before we were shushed, I thought we were doing a very a wonderful job, very professional job of
Matthew.
Out.
We live in Joe's world, Matthew.
Right. I thought we were doing a very good job of banter. Stretching it out a little bit, and then
He's about to take over again.
Yes, here he goes.
Here he goes.
Lips are moving. He's stuck.
There was a piece today on the back page of the Pioneer Press. The headline is, Chicago hunkers down in fear of agents. I'm going to read this to you and ask you to, if it's possible at all, for any of you idiots, to be serious for a moment and see if anything occurs to you when I read this. They're fearing Trump's troops coming to Chicago, the National Guard. All right.
Rapt attention.
Subhead, neighbors warn neighbors. Businesses close doors. It's a New York Times piece. The signs in Spanish are taped to windows and storefronts all over Chicago. Ice, no es bienvenido aquí. What's that mean? No ice here, please, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, not here.
Warning networks have been operating all day, every day, as people who spot agents from immigration and customs enforcement on the streets text friends and neighbors or begin streaming urgent cautions on Facebook Live. Remember, you're supposed to be thinking now. Mm-hmm. It's Chicago.
Yep.
Even tourists have been drawn into the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, startled by the sight of federal agents marching in camouflage last weekend through the city's upscale Gold Coast near the famed Magnificent Mile. What began quietly in Chicago 1 month ago as a promise by the Trump administration to increase arrests of immigrants without legal status is now being felt all over the city. There's 2.7 million people. And in the broader metro area encompassing millions more, tensions are flaring up like small, intense wildfires at elementary schools on the west side. Parents, I got to circle some things. Just a minute. I need to do this. And
he's making notations on the actual newspaper.
I need to do this. And I need to do here. Okay. Tensions are flaring up like small, intense wildfires at elementary schools. On the west side, parents have organized to stand guard at dismissal time. Some construction businesses are keeping their warehouse doors open to keep an eye out for ICE agents. Owners of small businesses are doing their own deliveries to protect their Latino employees from driving through the city streets. In Edgewater, on the far north side along Lake Michigan, neighborhood, what? A neighborhood list serve, I don't know what that is, lit up with worry Sunday over a helicopter circling the area. Could it be ICE? One person asked. Is there anything we can do? Asked another. Neighbors came out onto the streets of the Southwest on Saturday after a car crash involving federal agents and two motorists, who the Department of Homeland Security said were pursuing the agents recklessly. ICE agents responded with pepper balls and tear gas. The crowd shouting and waving anti-ICE signs remained until the federal agents finally left. I think that was the roly-poly fat ICE guy who tried to wrestle somebody to the ground and could not. Restaurants have cut back hours or stopped making deliveries altogether, unwilling to risk the arrest of their employees. We can't ask anyone to risk their safety just to serve bagels. One restaurant, Bagel Miller, explained in a Facebook post. Berto Aguayo, a lawyer and advocate for immigrants, described a month of rising tensions, political organizing, and outright fear as President Donald Trump's dragnet ensnared U.S. citizens alongside immigrants. Our family gatherings are filled with crying and trying to figure out how we get past this moment, Aguayo said. People are being terrorized. People are being attacked. That's what it feels like. When he visits his mother's home in Back of the Yards, a neighborhood on the southwest side, he said he sees far fewer people walking around than usual. Every single person who looks brown is scared. That's the end of the story. Any thoughts?
ICE is working. The question I have, I shouldn't have a question, should I? I should have a thought.
John, any thoughts?
Not really. Give us a hint. Which way?
It's a big city, and they're trying to.
I'll help you.
Oh, please.
Yes, please.
It's understandable that in a leftist city, there's going to be tremendous alarm at the presence of troops, and that alarm, I would imagine, is somewhat justified, considering that the United States is not a militarized state, although I would argue that I think this is a long way from a militarized state. You've got citizens taping signs to windows. You've got citizens texting each other. You've got citizens posting organized groups at schools upon dismissal. You've got citizens alert to watching traffic until things clear up. You have in Chicago every week 20 to 30 to 40 black kids shooting each other, and there's never been an outpouring like this. There's never been an effort to even acknowledge the 20 to 30 to 40 kids who shoot each other, resulting in 7 to 10 deaths a week, every single week in these same neighborhoods. And none of these people have taken this kind of action. So my observation is, take this kind of action and you are going to solve the gang-banging shooting problem. Put together texting strings, put together Facebook posts, put together groups at schools to monitor dismissals, walk with the kids home, report everything the minute you see it. And now, the New York Times breezes in. They've got no bleeping idea that I just had. And they write this, and we're all going to fear Trump, and okay, he's sending the National Guard. Why don't you do this every day and you'll end your black violence problem and stop these young kids from killing each other?
I think that's brilliant. Why don't they?
You're using social media. You're using groups of citizens binding together. You're using signs in storefronts issuing warnings. You're using communication devices to alert each other. Why in the hell aren't you doing this every day?
Amen.
To warn about ICE coming, right? Citizens.
No, that's what they're doing. This is all ICE, but do it. Concentrate on the horrible, horrible quality of life violence issues that are plaguing the city and denied by the mayor and denied by the ward healers who run that dump. Why don't you take this into your own hands and straighten the city out?
Well, they can't because the gang members will retaliate against them. Well, my question is, and you just brought it up briefly, why are they fighting the National Guard like this when the National Guard just wants to solve all of those issues you just mentioned?
Because apparently we're to understand that as far as the opponents to the National Guard are concerned, apparently we're supposed to be a country that does not have borders, which means you're not a country.
I want borders.
But none of this is surprising. A lawsuit has prevented Trump from sending anybody to Portland. I can understand residents alarmed when suddenly a Humvee full of armed soldiers is driving down their street. They're justified in being alarmed. But see what they're doing? They're doing something about it, the citizens. Whether you agree with their methods or not, whether you agree with their end objective, they're taking action. They don't take any action when a low-riding Buick Regal with 7 kids hanging out the window, shooting each other, roll down the same street. They're not doing a damn thing.
But they can't.
Well, I submit to you they can. I submit to you...
Kenny's got a good point with gang retaliation. There's no ICE retaliation.
I get it. But you put this kind of effort, you put this kind of eyes on those kids, there's going to be a slow withdrawal of their activity. You put I'm not saying mom has to go out on the street and risk her life getting shot when the car drives by. I'm not saying that. But eyes on the problem, calling the police, getting on top of it. They don't do any of that. They should have been doing it for 30 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If everybody in that neighborhood, in that part of the city, what are they called, wards, whatever, in Chicago, and I mean every single person fought back against the gangs, they would win.
And if Chicago papers don't do it, why don't you Julie Bosman wrote this for the New York Times. Why don't you go back and tell your editors that there's a big story to be done in Chicago about the same citizens have never reacted this way to gang violence?
Okay, so I had this same sort of reaction when we had this unfortunate mass shooting in South Minneapolis at the Catholic Church. How come you're not upset about the mass shootings? Hell, there was one in South Minneapolis just, 6 hours before the shooting at the church. Right. How come the whole town, the newspapers, and everybody aren't decrying that? It doesn't make sense to me, Joe.
Of course it doesn't, because it doesn't make sense. Now you're back to something that Jim Rubin nailed pretty accurately yesterday. The root of all problems in a declining city, whether it's Minneapolis or elsewhere, the root is the loss of the anticipation of safety. That's what's been lost. And the DSA candidates are complicit in that because the DSA platform calls for no police. No police. A DSA platform that they're busy trying to erase and edit so they can continue in power and eliminate that. But that's their ideology. No police, no jails, no prisons, no prosecutions. Those are all oppressed people, and we are here to save the oppressed.
When they remove the police units, what do the socialists think the gangbangers are going to do? Just act polite and say thank you for this and not...
Slowly, but no. The DSA, no, the DSA is... They're useless. They're not ever going to be helpful. Any DSA candidate should not be elected. They'll never be helpful. They have yet to be helpful. Name me one good thing they've done. One. You can't. But let me stick to my point. My point is, and Kenny's alluding to it, the same outpouring of concern that attended the Annunciation tragedy seems to be ignored when it's black kids who shoot each other, which is a byproduct of the left always treating black kids as less than. Mm-hmm. Less than. Oh, our policies will help you black kids. In the meantime, let's put a big bouquet up at Annunciation. God forbid that anyone misinterprets me on my sadness for Annunciation. That's not what I'm discussing. What I'm saying is you're all hypocrites, particularly the political class. You're hypocrites. You don't do a damn thing about the problem that's been staring you in the face for 30 years. But Trump, who's easily hateable and is hated by the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Chicago and many of the residents of Chicago, he wants to introduce National Guard troops to try to round up illegal immigrants, and the city goes crazy, cracks down, and develops their own means of a communications trail. Let's get on top of this. I'll call you, you call me, then you call Eduardo down the block so he can hide the kids. It's never been done for anything else.
It could work. It could work. The only time I saw something similar to this, Joe, was during the riots when the city called all of the residents to meeting places to tell them how to react. And the city people in charge said to the citizens, go home, put your trash in the garage or in the house, remove your propane tanks, draw your shades, stay in your house. Half the people did that. The other half went out on the streets, makeshift barricades, patrolled, wouldn't let cars go by, questioned every single person that drove and walked by. And you're right. That was citizens in action.
Yeah, and your neighborhood didn't burn down.
Didn't burn down. And at the time, in my mind, it was a nonpartisan effort. It was people who weren't afraid.
Well, of course it was.
That were out there, and people that were afraid, didn't want to risk their lives, were in the house peeking out under the shades.
Okay.
And I didn't ascribe politics to either side.
Well, people say I never have solutions for anything. Okay, Chicago, I just gave you a solution. How's your garage door doing?
What a segue.
Is it making any noise? Get that garage door fixed or replaced before the snow flies with Precision Door. Right now, GLers can get $100 off a new single door, $200 off a new double door. They have models of doors for every budget. They send out a designer. You get the free consultation. Bing, bang, boom. The next thing you know, you've improved the aesthetics, you're saving energy, and you've provided better security. If you like your door, but she's acting up, she's a little cranky.
Yeah.
She's making noise. They have a noisy door tune-up special for $149. That's a $290 value. The special includes a 25-point safety inspection and diagnostic. Get ready for the cooler weather ahead because annual maintenance reduces the future wear and tear and breakdowns, and Precision Door will take care of that. You don't want to go outside and do this when it's 20 below. Book online at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or a noisy door tune-up special with Precision Door.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
Set. I'm ready.
Latte Schmate. Here's Joe Souchere.
You dummies know what an FBP is, a 5 a.m. FBP. I had it yesterday. I made a pot of coffee at 5 a.m. yesterday morning, went into a full-blown panic, realizing I only have enough ground left to make it through Wednesday. That's tomorrow.
Some would say grounds.
Ground. I only had enough ground left. I don't care what some people say. I am me, and I am better than some people.
You do you, bro.
So what I did, Kenny doing Kenny things, I called Steven at Custom Roasting. I couldn't wait around and pour through the website. And you can do that, by the way, 763-862-4604. Steven answered the phone. That's their public number. Or you can do it like you normal, well-adjusted citizens do and use the website. That's also easy, customroasting.net. And the good thing about that is while you're there, you can peruse a couple, 2-3 things that you really should look for. Number one, the GL starter pack. Number two, the gift boxes. Now, the gift boxes, they're perfect, and I'm happy to announce I'm already done with my Christmas shopping due to the gift box. What they've done, they've put a bag of French roast and a bag of Minnesota Morning into a really nifty custom gift box, and you can send this to the recipient or you can send it to yourself, and they'll include a really cool label for whoever you want to gift it to. Bing, bang, boom. You are done with Christmas shopping. And you know what? It doesn't have to be Christmas. Housewarming, congratulatory, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I don't care. You do you, okay? The third neat thing about customroasting.net is this fundraising program they have. You know how the kids go around selling cookies or candy bars, this, that, or the other. Have your charity sell coffee from Custom Roasting. They've been doing this for years. They have perfect order forms, a variety of flavors to choose from. I know I would absolutely do this if some kid came knocking on my door. On account of, you want to know why?
Yeah.
I love coffee. It's that simple. I really love customroasting.net, a fantastic cup of coffee at a reasonable price, and the official supplier of ground and beans to Garage Logic and the Krabby Coffee Shop, customroasting.net.
Kenny, Teresa Ann Reavers had a birthday within the last week. I said, the boys want to get you something. Her answer was, fine. Get me an S-load of that coffee that Kenny keeps spouting about because it's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
really
she wanted
is.
for her birthday.
It really is.
Yep.
I don't even remember why it came up yesterday, but Barry Weiss was delightful, and Heather McDonald was dreadful. And unfortunately, Reavers is having a hard time finding.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Just coincidentally,
here's a bit of Heather McDonald from when was this?
This was June 20. Now, I should set this up this way. This was June 22nd, 2021. You were still doing the show at your home.
Okay.
And so that's when Rook and I would get away with a lot here in the building. However, she had a segmented time for us because she was doing kind of one of those circuits, a little round robin deal. So this was her. She was talking about the piece that she wrote called "The War on Cops" when she joined the show in 2021.
For Black America.
No, it has certainly not a thing. It is teaching them to be victims and be angry and expect other people to take care of their problems.
Police
Well, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation.
All right, you got to run?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Heather McDonald, I think she's got to finish cleaning her bathroom. Or washing the dishes or something. I don't know what she was doing.
No, she had a block of time for us for that. I forgot to mention that.
Bleeping busy?
Oh yeah, she's got a bunch of books.
Well, whatever.
Okay.
That wasn't Heather That was Dawn McLean of doing one of her voices.
It's like a moon landing.
Please.
The best part was, thank you so much for the conversation. I enjoyed it. As Joe's about to ask her another question.
We were just started.
Yeah.
No, we got about 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Wait a minute, I'm writing that down. Say it again. Thank you so much. I'm going to be using this. Thank you so much.
Text that to
I
me, will you,
enjoyed the
Kenny?
conversation.
Virginia has an attorney general candidate named Jay Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's a Democrat. Democratic Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones sent disturbing text to a former colleague in August of 2022 about wanting to kill a Republican lawmaker. This is according to the National Review. And this fellow, Jay Jones, a former Virginia state delegate, told Republican House Delegate Kerry Coynier that he would give former Republican Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert 2 bullets to the head and urinate on his grave.
What?
National Review reported Friday, citing text messages it obtained. Jones is now running against Republican Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares in the November general election and reportedly made the comments about Gilbert after leaving the State House months earlier. Okay. I will go to the funerals to piss on their graves, to send them out awash in something, Jones reportedly wrote about Republican colleagues such as Gilbert. The now candidate also said that if he had Gilbert and 2 dictators in front of him and a gun with 2 bullets, Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Coynier asked Jones, stop. It bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death upon them. Jones replied with LOL and okay. Well, I guess I'm bringing this up because why would anyone vote for this bad person? What the hell is this?
And he tried to turn the tables by saying, look what my opponent has reached to discredit me.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Well, it's a pretty good discredit.
Yeah.
The candidate blames Trump for this.
Well, for sure. I mean, it's his fault.
He blames the Trump-controlled media for the.
Are you?
If there's anything
Nobody
that's
hates-
not controlled by Trump in this country, it's the media.
Nobody hates him more.
Yeah. The candidate blamed Trump-controlled media for the scandal in a statement to WTVR Richmond, but did not deny the conversations. Like all people, I've sent text messages that I regret, and I believe that violent rhetoric has no place in our politics. Well, you moron. Let's be clear about what is happening in the Attorney General race right now. Jason Miyares is dropping smears through Trump-controlled media organizations to assault my character and rescue his campaign, Jones said. I would submit to you that Jones has no character. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
This is a strategy that ensures Jason Miyares will continue to be accountable to Donald Trump, not the people of Virginia. Boy, this guy really spins this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does.
You know, okay, I threatened to put 2 bullets in a guy's head and then urinate all over his grave. Okay.
What's the deal?
But Trump's running this other guy. What a bunch of BS. I don't want to read anymore. The hell with him.
You know, you just got to realize he can't be very smart anyway because he sent those to a Republican legislator.
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to get out. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
It kind of almost reminds me of our own guy that sent those incriminating emails or text messages to Alpha News. Remember that guy?
Oh,
He worked in
yeah.
government. Now he's mysteriously gone.
Yeah. The Republican...
Here it is. HR director who sent profanity-laced email to Alpha News no longer works for state agency. Levon Phillips.
Yeah, I remember that.
But this is the playbook. I'm running against Trump. This is now the playbook that any Democratic candidate is running upon.
The Republican Attorneys General Association, we call that REGA, also called on Jones to drop out of the upcoming election. Conservatives are being executed for their beliefs, and text messages like these are part of the problem, REGA Executive Director Adam Piper said. Virginia deserves better. Jones previously faced criticism about his personal conduct after news broke that he served a sentence in 2022 for reckless driving incident in Virginia by logging community service hours within his own political action committee.
Wow.
Instead of taking accountability for his action, it appears that my opponent submitted a letter to the court stating that he performed 500 hours of community service for his own PAC, which isn't a charitable organization under state code. Miyares said Wednesday, that raises serious troubling questions about Jay Jones' judgment, his ability to uphold the law, and ultimately his qualifications for Attorney General. Jones previously lost the Democratic Virginia primary for Attorney General in 2021, but he won the 2025 primary. Well, I can't. That's Virginia. Yeah. Good luck to you in Virginia, but I wouldn't vote for this Jay Jones crackpot. Would you, Rook?
Hell no.
Uh-huh.
I'd take him out to the woodshed and smack him around a little bit.
Yes, you would.
I wouldn't do anything worse than that because that's where I'd get in trouble.
Brief note on Walz. I've solved the Chicago problem.
Well,
You have a theory.
you've given them a viable alternative that
This
they
is
will not take.
Whose piece is this in the American experiment? John Phelan. Over the past few weeks, Phelan writes, I've been looking at various data to judge how Minnesota's economy and Minnesotans economically have fared since Governor Walz took office in January of 2019. But a measure like GDP per capita might seem a little abstract to many, never mind the fact that, like any mean average, it can be skewed by outliers. Perhaps to get a measure of how the average Minnesotan is faring, we need to look at a more immediate measure, like median household income. You know what that means?
The middle.
Half above, half below.
That's right.
The median.
The best of the lousiest and the lousiest of the best.
There it is.
The good news is that according to the Census Bureau data, in 2024, Minnesota had a median household income higher than in 38 out of 50 states. That's pretty good news, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And Mr. Phelan includes graphs. But the direction of travel is concerning. Minnesota's median household income in 2024, $92,350, was down 6.4% from its peak in 2019 when it was $98,680. As Figure 2 shows, he's got all the figures here, only 4 states have performed worse on this measure since 2019. As a result of this, Minnesota's premium in Minnesota household income, its level minus that of the U.S. generally, is down from $16,850 in 2022 to $8,620 in 2024, its lowest level since 2010. All right. So it's looking at this more immediate measure. The years since 2019 have been brutal for Minnesotans' finances, worse than for the United States generally. That's your governor, Mr. Walz, who wants a third term. God only knows why he has the nerve to even want a third term.
He's trying to protect us from Trump.
That's true. He's running against the Don.
You know, there was an interesting letter to the editor yesterday, Joe, in the Star Tribune from a Democrat urging Walz not to run and laying out the reasons why. And I'm wondering how often is that happening right now within the party that we're not hearing about?
I happen to know the author of that letter very well.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. And she's a flaming progressive.
Yeah.
But with a head on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Is that person suggesting that they fear if Walz does run, then the Republicans will have a chance?
I love her dearly. I know her well. What I think, if I'm reading between her lines, she's saying Walz is hurting the progressive movement.
Okay, that's okay.
She's all for as much progressivism as possible, being a young, fairly bright woman, but horribly misguided politically, and she thinks progressivism is the way to go. So it's one of those cases where Walz isn't progressive enough.
Oh, sweet Moses.
Okay, so I did not read that.
But it's a well-written letter.
It is.
She points out his flaws, and you're not helping us any, Mr. Walz. I ain't voting for who she votes for.
The game of gubernatorial flaws.
In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have brought it up.
No, it's a great story. That same letter appeared in the St. Paul paper.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I think what you're asking for is more honesty out of your political candidates. Is that fair to say?
Well, she's really good at marketing. I know that. If she got her letter to appear in both papers,
yeah.
Whatever she does it. She's good.
She's a wonderful human being, a mother. She's a closest friend to a kid I used to have. Know her well, right. But she's lollipops and butterflies and everything's fine, and but she knows everything's not fine.
I was going to say from the letter, I don't think she thinks that, Joe.
Yeah, she doesn't think things are fine. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misinterpreting her, but she cites her progressivism in the letter.
Yeah.
I'm
correct. Yeah.
I'm a very alert progressive, and Walz is not the answer.
One of the things that's been making the rounds is the honest candidate for Senate. Would you like to hear a snippet of his campaign?
Well, who is the honest candidate for Senate?
This would be Gil Fulbright.
From?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people who run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election.
Yeah?
I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright or Bill Fulbright or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest in lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest in lobbyists? I'm Philip, a mouth with farts, and I approve this message.
Now, see, if somebody did that, I could vote for him.
Instantly.
Instantly.
Yep.
Sadly
That's about
accurate.
as honest as you could be.
Who came up with fill my mouth with farts?
Fill my mouth with farts.
What? How twisted do you have to be to come up with
Was
that?
Leland on that advertising campaign?
That's one of your kids, the back seat.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
I
that's-
take it that's a comedy bit by someone.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, I have to, someone has to be the anchor here. Someone has to clarify.
Gil Fulbright for Senate.
Yeah. Hell, I bought it.
Joe, I'd just like to thank you so much for the conversation. I really enjoyed it. I have to go clean the broom closet if you don't mind. Good talking.
You got to finish cleaning the bathroom? Yeah.
Let me tell you.
What do you got over there?
Well, I got some fun for you at EcoFun Motorsports. The weather just keeps begging people to get to EcoFun in Forest Lake / Columbus.
You're stealing from the man right
on
now.
Highway 97, just west of the interstate. At last announcement, there was still a Kawasaki Ultra 160 Angler Edition jet ski. You fish from the jet ski. It's got a fish box on it.
That's pretty cool.
Live well.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. The Jet Ski Ultra 160 LXS Angler watercraft takes the action to a wide range of preferred and even remote fishing locations. It's a 3-passenger personal watercraft. It's built off the Ultra platform and adds fishing-focused features. How cool would that be?
Totally.
A hot summer day, you go out, you hang your feet in the water, you're sitting on the side of your jet ski, and you throw the line in.
Yeah, but the fish are going to be jumping into that creel.
Well, last week there was only one left. If it's still there, that's being amazing because it's on sale for $2,500 off MSRP. Plus, you get the free Triton aluminum trailer. That's worth $2,000. You get that with it. And as of last week, there was a couple of 2025 jet skis and wave runners in stock that comes with that free Triton trailer. It's the electric bike capital of the world as long as you're there. Motorcycles, scooters, youth recreational equipment, but that great wow equipment.
I'm driving in
my car to EcoFun. They have it all. It's the most fun store I've ever been in, and their website's dangerous, ecofunmotorsports.com. EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake, right on Highway 97, immediately west of the interstate, and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life, ecofunmotorsports.com.
This is Ricey for the Canopy Group, and we have a challenge for you. Call your current home and auto insurance agent and ask them to shop your coverage with 16 different companies and give you the top 3 quotes. Go ahead, ask, and be ready for a long pause because most agents represent only one company. That's right, one, and they're counting on you to not shop around. But the Canopy Group does the shopping for you. Their team of 50 professionals works the entire insurance marketplace to find the best coverage and value for your specific needs. And once you're a Canopy Group client, you're part of their annual review program, meaning they keep working for you year after year, saving you a small fortune over time. Stop settling, start saving. Visit thecanopygroup.com today and let them do the shopping while you enjoy the saving.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Hail the flashlight king. Hail you. This comes to us from Joanne. I got to take my glasses off because that's how old I'm getting now. I have to take my glasses off to read an email. We have been going to the Minnesota State Fair for over 30 years, and we have bought toffee peanuts from a different vendor during those years. This year, however, we decided to compare those nuts to the We Are Nuts toffee peanuts. taste test time.
Can I ask you a question?
Talk to me.
Where do they get their nuts?
From all over the place.
Those cashews they have.
The cashews come.
They're the size of a baby's fist.
They come from Korea. No joke. It's not a joke.
Really?
It's not a joke.
Well, I don't care.
They have a great
not North Korea.
No, they have a great relationship with a number of different vendors from seriously
those
all
cashews
over
are bitter
the world.
from North Korea.
Yeah, you're out to eat those.
Back to Joanne, by the way. We snuck sample nuts from We Are Nuts to the other vendors' area, got our samples there, and compared them. No contest. We Are Nuts toffee peanuts are scrumptious and the absolute best. We bought several jars. Thank you, GL, for giving us the heads up and for feeding our nut addiction. Dan and Joanna, faithful listeners from the beginning from Hayward, Wisconsin. Well, thank you very much. We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. I know it's still October, but now's the time to think about those holiday gift tins for vendors, for clients, for employees, whatever. Go to wearenutsmn.com, Joe, and place your order today, and make sure you mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. I did a little research on Gil Fulbright while we were in break there, and I found out there are a lot of Gil Fulbright ads because he actually ran, I use quotation marks, in a 2014 election, and he's part of a group called Represent Us. That's a nonpartisan grassroots organization that fights for government accountability. And they're on their board and their advisory council and their cultural council. There's a lot of people you would know.
And he has a curiously still family.
Right.
Yeah.
Curiously still, yeah. So you can find Gil's ads online.
I would vote for him only because he doesn't loathe old people.
Yeah.
Wasn't it not in public or whatever?
Something like that.
Yeah. In news, another Minnesota state senator announcing plans to step down at the end of his current term. Senator Jim Carlson, DFLer from Eagan, says he'll retire when his term expires at the end of 2026. Right now, he's in his fifth term representing Senate District 52. That includes Eagan, Burnsville, Mendota Heights, and Mendota. In his nearly 2 decades at the Capitol, Carlson has chaired the Senate Elections Committee, also serves on the Judiciary and Public Safety, State and Local Government and Veterans, and the Transportation Committees. Senators Ann Rast and Jeremy Miller have also recently said they will not seek re-election. Federal judges revoked the pretrial release of the latest defendant about to go on trial related to the $250 million fraud investigation involving Feeding Our Future. You remember we talked about this fella last week. Prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office first accused Abdi Wahab Mohammed of witness tampering in a motion filed last week. FBI Special Agent Jared Carey testified yesterday that the witness, identified only as Conspirator A, revealed that she had at least 2 chance encounters with Mohammed after both of them were indicted in 2022. The terms of Mohammed's pretrial release prohibit him from having any contact with witnesses or other defendants. Investigators say the most recent encounter with Mohammed happened in January or February of this year while the witness was sitting on a bench at Nickelodeon Universe inside Mall of America. Carey said he told her she was a snitch, and he said words that were not loud but threatening and made her promise not to testify. Prosecutors called it strong-arming, said the behavior is particularly troubling. Remember, an attempt to bribe a juror last year and another instance of alleged witness tampering in 2 previous trials connected to Feeding Our Future. Mohammed denied the allegations of witness tampering.
You know, one of the problems that complicates this is I think these guys and gals don't think any of this is wrong. And then when they're confronted with the illegality of it, then they also come up with many other ways that are wrong to try to get out of it because they don't think bribing is wrong. They don't think the theft is wrong.
Sure.
They think I got to get for me. I think that's difficult for the prosecutors to handle that.
Yeah. Prosecutors have criminally charged 2 people after police say a man was stabbed repeatedly in his home in front of his daughter over an alleged affair. A woman called Hubbard County deputies to a trailer park south of Park Rapids at around 3:35 in the morning on Saturday after a 5-year-old girl and her bloodied father were pounding on nearby doors and screaming for help, according to court documents. Deputies found the man suffering from 8 to 10 stab wounds over his body. He told first responders he was attacked in his home by a former neighbor, a man later identified as 44-year-old Charles Wayne Justice. The victim was taken to a hospital by ambulance, then airlifted to another medical facility for treatment due to the severity of his injuries. Investigators tracked down Justice and his wife, 50-year-old Danielle Westfall, at their home and interviewed them. During that time, both told deputies they'd used meth the previous night, charging documents say, and Justice said he believed Westfall had cheated on him with someone with the victim's name. So he said he went to the house and, quote, whooped his bleep.
There you go. Some of the old school here.
After admitting to stabbing the victim, Justice said he then went back home, drove to Westfall to a church near Nevis, and told her what he'd done. Deputies then talked again with Westfall, who earlier denied knowing where or what Justice had been doing, and asked her about what Justice told them. According to the complaint, she admitted then to throwing her husband's bloodied clothing out a window as they drove back from the church. He's charged with attempted first and second-degree murder, first-degree assault and burglary, each charge carrying up to 20 years in prison, while Westfall is facing charges of aiding an offender, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. They each made their first court appearances yesterday. Next door, a deadly tornado that tore across southeastern North Dakota this summer has been upgraded to an EF5 with winds topping 200 miles an hour. That's the strongest classification of a tornado and the first confirmed on American soil in a dozen years, meteorologists said today. The June 20th twister near the town of Enderlin killed 3 people, and at its largest was 1.05 miles wide. Meteorologists from the National Weather Service office in Grand Forks estimated the winds at 210 miles an hour. The 1999 Bridge Creek Moore tornado in Oklahoma holds the record for the strongest winds at 321 miles an hour. The 12-year gap between top-of-the-scale ratings is the longest since the agency started keeping records in 1950. The earlier tornadoes were assessed using an older version of the EF scale called the Fujita.
I don't doubt that it was an F1, but what's the point of announcing
F5.
that now?
I
mean F5.
I watched a report this morning. Cody Matz on Fox 9 did one, and he says it's property damage is how they can change the level. Basically, this storm picked up a train and blew it 500 feet. That's how powerful this storm was.
It's like your Twister movie. Remember when the cow was up in the air? You didn't want to believe that?
Yeah,
the movie Twister, you had a problem with.
No, I didn't have trouble believing that, man.
Well,
why don't we take a little break here and hear once again from Mr. Twister, Matt Mikulski.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. This will be a whirlwind of an endorsement here, and I'm talking about the Minnesota Freemasons. If you're looking for a ray of hope, that's where you're going to find it for the last several years now on GL. I've been sharing with you all the great things the Minnesota Freemasons are doing. They do big things like donating over $6 million annually to support cancer research, aging studies, and children's communication disorders. All wonderful things to get behind. The 8,000-plus Freemasons throughout Minnesota, what are they doing? Well, they're working together to make the world a better place, focusing on the core values of friendship, personal development, helping those in need. That's total common sense. Minnesota Masons also give away dozens of scholarships each year to tomorrow's leaders. That's pretty good, too. This year, they'll give out over $900,000 in student scholarships for 2025. To date, Minnesota Masonic Charities, they've given out a cool $13 million in total scholarships. Did you get that? $13 million? This is why we're such a great fan of Minnesota's Freemasons. They're donating their time and talents to foster the next generation of business and civic leaders. The Civility Project, you can learn more about that. You can go to mnfreemasons.org, scholarship programs, upcoming events, mnfreemasons.org, and let them know you heard it on Garage Logic.
So,
bonjour.
What if the cop says your dad drives like a woman?
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Me. Let's talk about Awaken 180 Weight Loss at awaken180weightloss.com. That's the website you can go to and start your plan catered to any lifestyle. Anybody can take part in Awaken 180 Weight Loss. And you know what? It's been a couple of weeks for me, and I've noticed an amazing difference. Energy level is up, weight is coming down, and you know what? It'll work for you too. It's a clear, daily plan. There is no complicated tracking or counting. It's a very neat and easy-to-use app on your phone, and you get one-on-one weekly coaching for accountability and also adjustments. And your coach is going to help you through so many things, even picking out restaurant menu items for when you decide to go out. It's the at-home program, easy to use and to track anywhere, and like I said, built for any lifestyle. You can still go on vacation, you can still go out, you can still tailgate, you can still have drinks, and you can still stay on your plan. There's thousands of recipes, so that way meals don't feel like diet food. You eat to lose weight, and it's a solution that's worked for over 800,000 people. So take that first step today. Go online to awaken180weightloss.com. That's 180, or call them directly for that free consultation at 844-346-1800. Awaken180weightloss.com. Mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast, Johnny.
Thanks, Chris. In national and international news, delegates from Israel and Hamas began indirect talks in Egypt yesterday to hash out sticking points in a U.S.-led 20-point proposal to forge a ceasefire and arrange a hostage prisoner exchange. The negotiations, mediated by the U.S., Qatar, and Egypt, kicked off on the eve of the war's second anniversary. The parties have conditionally agreed on broader contours of the plan, but there's still a lot of disagreements on the details. Meanwhile, many American Jews are disapproving of Israel's conduct in the Gaza war, according to a new poll. 61% saying Israel has committed war crimes, about 4 in 10 saying it's guilty of genocide. Poll takers in the Washington Post survey were found to be especially unhappy with the government in Israel, giving 68% negative rating to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Jews overwhelmingly blaming Hamas for the war, with 94% agreeing that Hamas has committed war crimes against Israel. Economic news. Investors, money managers, and central banks across the world have piled into gold this year, and today, for the first time, its price above $4,000 per ounce. The precious metal has gained more than 50% this year, setting a series of records in the process. Gold, often seen as a haven during times of turmoil, is on the course for its best year since 1979, when prices surged over 100% during a period of high inflation, a depreciating dollar, and a geopolitical crisis in the Middle East.
Is there any place in Minnesota to pan for gold? I wonder.
I don't think so.
I would love to do that.
On the range, maybe?
I don't know. There's a lot of copper and nickel up there.
Yeah.
Can you pan?
That's okay, John. You may continue.
The Trump administration considering a significant financial aid package for farmers, according to multiple sources familiar with the discussions. That package could include more than $10 billion in relief. The White House is focusing on soybean farmers since they've been hit hard by the Chinese boycott of American soybeans. Discussions about the package are still in early stages, according to one of the sources. In 2024, China purchased $12.6 billion worth of soybeans from the U.S. As harvest season gets underway this year, China has made 0 U.S. soybean purchases.
Joe, to answer your question, yes, you can pan for gold in Minnesota as a hobby, but it is not for commercial profit, as the gold deposits are sparse and were left by glaciers. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources states that no permit is needed for recreational panning if you have minimum impact on the environment. Similar to swimming or wading, you'll find the gold in gravel beds along rivers like the Mississippi, but you'll need to search and classify the material to find the small specks and flakes that are present.
I can hook you up with a friend of mine, Tony Beets. He's got a claim on a river up north, and he's been pulling in, anywhere from 5 to 6,000 ounces a year up there.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait a minute, what did I just say? 4,000?
6,000 times 4,000.
Yeah. 24.
Yeah, well,
2.4 million.
Got to put food in your family.
It's over there.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of Tony Beets. Everybody in Minnesota knows Tony Beets.
Geez, I guess I'm behind the times again.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Joe? Thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation. I've got to go clean the broom closet.
He's up there on Mind Your Own Business Bay, is what Kenny's trying to say.
The government shutdown causing some issues at airports. Rook, have you seen this yet or not?
I have seen this. I don't think so here. I've not seen this here at MSP.
Have you been consulted?
I've not been briefed.
Okay.
So it's not official.
12 FAA administration facilities saw staffing shortages last night. The control towers in Burbank, Phoenix, and Denver had so-called staffing triggers reported to the public FAA operations. Other facilities that handle air traffic around airports in Newark, New Jersey, Jacksonville, Florida, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Indianapolis were also short-staffed. The most dramatic impact was at the Burbank, California airport, where the control tower was entirely shut down about 4:15 yesterday afternoon. Flights could take off and land, but they had to follow procedures typically used.
You're on your own.
Well,
Take a chance, airlines.
Do you think they fly by like we do in a parking lot? We'll just circle the lot till we find an opening.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Had to follow procedures typically used at smaller airports without control towers.
Wow.
Delays in Burbank, more than 2.5 hours reported at one point. Denver International and Newark Liberty International saw ground delays where flights were prohibited from taking off until controllers were able to handle them. Both airports are major hubs for United Airlines. That airline did not respond to a request for comment today.
I will say that the Miami airport, which is very busy, I saw no change, no long lines, nothing. They were.
I went through customs and got pulled out of line there before, but long before.
Oh, I'm sure they had their eye on you.
And let me tell you, that was an interesting experience.
Well,
I'll
and
tell
an
you about it
experiment, yeah. He had cold hands, didn't he?
Is it true,
Yes.
though, that some of these people, they're not being paid, but they're still being suggested to come into work?
And it's not suggested.
It's
mandatory
To come into work.
Well, but they ain't feeling it. I mean, come on.
That's
like here.
Reavers, that's conditioning them for a life in radio.
That's true.
They'll fit right in with us.
I don't know if I'm going to get paid at the end of the week, but I'm here, right?
Mm-hmm. Kenny and I had a discussion about that life in radio yesterday. We traded some messages yesterday about it.
Yeah.
In other news, Attorney General Pam Bondi appearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee this morning. Bondi deflected questions from Democrats on a variety of issues, saying, Senator, I'm not going to discuss that with you. And this came on questions about internal DOJ discussions on prosecuting a Trump political opponent. The hearing comes after the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey by a federal grand jury. She also said she wouldn't talk about her handling of the Epstein files and the existence of a so-called client list. She was also pressed about the legal basis for drone strikes on suspected drug cartels and the Trump administration's push to use the military in U.S. cities. Medical helicopter crashing on a highway in Sacramento, critically injuring 3 people aboard, including a woman who was pinned underneath. If there is a cool part of this story, this is it. She was rescued when motorists helped lift part of the aircraft off one of the women who was injured. It took 15 people apparently to lift the helicopter off of her.
Wow.
The helicopter had been taking a patient to a hospital. It was on its way back to the place it had been dispatched from when it experienced an in-air emergency just after 7 last night. That according to Captain Justin Sylvia, a spokesperson for the Sacramento Fire Department. He said it looks like the helicopter crashed upside down and left a large debris field on the highway. Endurance. We've talked about Endurance before, the famed 20th century polar expedition ship that stranded 28 men after being crushed by Antarctic ice. Apparently, it was structurally weaker than we've long believed, that according to a new report published yesterday. For decades, experts attributed Endurance's sinking to extreme ice conditions and a faulty rudder. Newspapers and books hailed the wooden vessel as the strongest polar ship of its time, and explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton has been revered for guiding his crew on the perilous months-long journey to safety. However, yesterday's first ever structural analysis of Endurance challenged that narrative. The report found the ship lacked critical support beams needed to endure Antarctic ice, making it weaker than some other 20th century polar ships. A complimentary review of Shackleton's writings also suggests he was aware of Endurance's shortcomings and the risk they posed, but set sail anyway, kind of like Patrick would do on an airplane.
Let's take it. Hey, how about a vote?
The report was written by Juka Tukuri, a scientist aboard the Endurance 22 mission that discovered the wreck back in 2022.
I can't believe Shackleton made it to where he did in the rowboat. I just can't.
They just kept rowing, didn't they?
I just can't. Well, I had a sail, but I mean, I just can't believe it. That was some of the roughest water in the world.
And that they survived waiting for him.
Yeah.
Months later.
Yeah.
And I bet the conversation every day was, are you kidding me? Nah, he ain't coming back.
He's in
He
Bora
didn't
Bora.
even make it to where he's going. We're
John,
screwed.
thank you. And I would like to tell you that in the event you are thinking about expanding your business, moving a business, or starting a new business, you might want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where there is no personal or corporate state income taxes. Sioux Falls is growing. The workforce is large and well educated. The cost of living is low. It's a central location and has developed industrial parks, so your cost of doing business is kept manageable. Contact the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. They'll give you the resources to help you stop searching for that perfect place. Voted #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes magazine, and #2 best state business tax climate by the Tax Foundation. It is South Dakota's largest city, metro population almost 300,000. Sioux Falls has low business costs and a high quality of life. And I hope I mentioned no inheritance tax and no limits to what your business can achieve. A bit different than here locally. Find out everything you need to know at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. Let's go.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Do you know why?
You should upgrade. Why?
Because Hofferman Water and Connecticut are here to solve all of your water needs. And you know what? It's a great time right now to get on that schedule and have them come out for that free water analysis. And you can do that one of two ways. You can call them directly at 612-895-2440, or you can also visit their website, which is, of course, HoffermanWater.com. Either way, get on that schedule and have them come out for that free water analysis. And when they come out, they're going to give you this thing that's called a water score. And then based upon that water score, they're going to have recommendations on how they can upgrade the quality of your water. And they did that for me. Yeah, I started out as a customer of Hofferman Water and Connecticut, and it's been a great relationship, and they've made an amazing difference in the quality of my water. And I know they'll do the same thing for you. So once again, visit them online today at HoffermanWater.com and check out every single water treatment system that they have to offer. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Detroit has always been offered up as a cautionary tale for what can happen to a once successful big American city. I wonder if Dearborn is a cautionary tale.
I'll see.
Now, we had the story of the fellow who went to the city hall and protested about naming a street after a well-known local Dearborn Muslim cleric who had a street named after him, only to discover that he was a bit terrorist-friendly and a fan of Hamas and whatnot. But the mayor of Dearborn, himself a Muslim, told the fellow, why don't you just leave? We don't want your kind here.
Called you an Islamophobe, all that deal.
Now you have a woman in Dearborn named Andrea Unger. She's lived in Dearborn for 40 years, and she has gone to city officials pressing them to enforce the noise ordinance because a nearby mosque's daily call to prayer is disruptive and intrusive and very loud. She said there are loudspeakers at a mosque a quarter mile from her house, and they carry the call to prayer multiple times a day, often lasting for 5 minutes. The sound is so loud she can hear it clearly in her home, and sometimes as early as 5:30 a.m.
Did you see this video?
No.
She posted about it online. It's very intrusive.
She's been trying to get the police and the city council to do something for the past 2 years, but the problem continues. Well, the mayor is a very strident Muslim fellow himself.
Yep.
Our city ordinance doesn't permit unusual, annoying sounds for 5 minutes or longer, but the mosque continues to violate our privacy, she said. It's not like going down to the park and people ask you about God or someone comes to your door. This is coming into your home. You have no choice. At a September 23 city council meeting, Unger presented a petition signed by 40 neighbors urging enforcement of the city's noise ordinance, which prohibits the continuance of any unreasonably loud, disturbing, unusual, or unnecessary noise which annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, and safety of others within the limits of the city. The city ordinance states that noise in residential areas cannot exceed 55 decibels at night or 60 decibels in the morning. The loudspeakers are prohibited between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Unger said she's recorded the call to prayer for 30 consecutive days and found it consistently exceeds 70 decibels. So it's in violation of the ordinance. She emphasized that her concerns are not religion, but fairness and equal enforcement. What the hell? I heard a lot of people say, I'm glad you said something, because people are afraid they'll get called names like Islamophobic, like our mayor, Abdullah H. Hammoud, called Dearborn resident and Christian minister Ted Barham. Remember, that's the guy we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because you disagree. We are not Islamophobic. We're not anti-Muslim. We're not anti-Jewish. We just want to live in the community that it's always been before. Something changed 2 years ago to allow this. It might be the mayor. It's not legal, nor we to support it. Multiple attempts to reach the mosque for comment were not successful. Another mosque in this city said it has voluntarily lowered its sound system in response to community concerns. We always respect our neighbors, said Nabil Bahalawan, director of the Dearborn Community Center, which has been mentioned in conversations. He said the center had shut off its microphone broadcasting the call to prayer until the matter is resolved. Dearborn City Council drew widespread city attention in September after Mayor Abdullah H. Hammoud called Christian minister and Dearborn resident Ted Barham a racist, bigot, and Islamophobe after he raised objections over street signs being named in honor of a controversial Islamic leader. Oh, so I just said Detroit's been a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Is Dearborn a cautionary tale?
I'd say so.
Wow.
But isn't that proving the point from earlier in the show? If you have a countering point, you're immediately attacked of being a racist. It's just straight out of the playbook.
There is no atheist, Christian, Jewish, Catholic, or other group that is allowed to use loudspeakers to blast a 5-minute prayer into the homes of the people in East Dearborn, Unger said. She's right.
Very true.
There is no other religion that would do this. I would say Dearborn, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm saying it's a cautionary tale.
For all of us.
I'd hate to hear that at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But don't we do that in Minneapolis? Don't we have the call to prayer?
Yes,
here?
but so far I'm unaware of people complaining about it.
Maybe they keep it at a reasonable volume.
I don't know. Only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans, who are in Barcelona, Spain, where it's about 78 degrees today.
Nice.
Well, it was on this day,
Impressive.
October 7th.
in 1794, construction began on Ash House, a Hudson Bay Company trading post at the mouth of the Rainy River. The 2-story log house with oiled parchment windows and a clay and stone chimney was completed a month later. On this day,
October 7th.
well, on this day in 1910, forest fires destroyed Baudette and Spooner, killing 29 people and burning over 220,000 acres of land. During this dry year of 1910, more than 900 fires had burned in 29 counties, causing 42 deaths. Grayston, Pitt, Cedar Spur, and Williams also burned. I realize that it only happens today, but unfortunately it also happened in 1910. On this day,
On October 7th.
1935, guess who was in town? Amelia Earhart. Spoke to the Women's City Club in St. Paul. Formed in 1921, the club valued social, cultural, political, and intellectual pursuits, and also hosted speakers Gertrude Stein and T.S. Eliot. Boy, there ain't nothing like that going on in St. Paul these days. On this day,
On October 7th.
in 1998, a group of protesters criticized the Hopkins Company, Alliant Tech Systems, for deciding to manufacture landmines for the U.S. military. Police arrested 53 people.
I don't remember that.
On this day in Minnesota, sports disappointment history.
Who'd the Twins lose to?
Yeah.
On this day in 1976,
October 7th.
Ooh, this is
the
Vikings.
Fighting Saints played their first game. It was a new franchise. Now, I don't know why that's a disappointment. I think the sports disappointments it's just a given, I think, that anything you mention is ultimately going to be a disappointment.
Wasn't the Fighting Saints the organization that the guys ran to the bank because they were afraid their checks weren't going to cash?
That's right.
Okay.
And then, here's another one. I don't know why this is a disappointment. October 7th.
On this day.
Yeah, on this day.
October 7th.
In 2011. The Lynx won the WNBA title.
That's not a disappointment.
It's not a disappointment. That was a great event.
Yeah.
But I think they're in there because ultimately everything in Minnesota sports becomes a disappointment.
Sure.
For example, this year, the Lynx were knocked out of the playoffs.
That's true.
I think they lost to Vegas.
And didn't everybody lose their mind? Actually, they lost to...
New York?
No.
They lost to some damn team.
The Mercury. They lost to the Phoenixes.
Yeah, but and then our coach went nuts.
And so did our best player.
Yeah.
Is it that time of the show where we should all gather around and hold hands and bow our heads and pray that the Yankees get their asses kicked tonight?
Yes. That is what we're
Go
hoping for.
Blue Jays!
Yes. Maybe they can hold them to less than 12 runs today, Johnny.
Yeah,
Who
let's
plays
hope
this
so.
afternoon? Detroit and Seattle?
Yes, sir.
Who won last night?
The Dodgers beat the Phils. And
which was awesome.
And the Brewers crushed the Cubs.
Yeah. Go Brewers!
Yeah, I like the Brewers.
That was awesome, too.
Well, I wouldn't mind the Cubs again, though.
Screw the
Are
Cubs.
they down 2-0?
They think they're so special.
The Cubs? Ooh.
Yes.
People already sending me stuff about the Yankees, so I'll say this: Cub fans, I hate them. I'm sorry. So send me more now.
You and
Thank you, GLers.
Do us a favor, if you have not done so already, you should join the over 18,000 subscribers of the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yeah, that's right. Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and then you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. You can also see full segments, paper shuffling, video shorts, all sorts of that stuff is available for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube and search for us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And if you haven't done so yet, sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today at garagelogic.com.
We don't do birthdays, but happy birthday, Bob.
Bob's birthday.
Walleye sandwich.
We're going to get a walleye sandwich at Joseph's.
Time once again to check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh. And he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice. And he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, oh boy, Josh, there's a lot of worry right now, isn't there?
Oh, my goodness. Is there a lot of worry? And that doesn't account even for Rick Cacella's piece. It was on TV last week, and you guys were discussing when I was out of town visiting family. Wow, there is a lot of worry. We're worried about government shutdown. We're worried about airline delays as air traffic controllers call in sick during this government shutdown, even though they're considered essential workers. Many years ago during Ronald Reagan's administration, Ronald Reagan said to the air traffic controllers, if you don't show up for work, you want to call a strike? Goodbye. God bless. You have too many sick-out days, and I realize that with the air traffic controllers not showing up to work, the last time that happened, the government shutdown ended very, very quickly. Now, both parties, of course, are saying the other is holding things up and causing problems. When you go from saying 6 months ago, we'll keep the government open, and this bill is the same bill that was passed 6 months ago, and now one party says snap, we want to shut things down, increase unemployment among government workers because we want to see an extension COVID benefits for a select group of people. Otherwise, their health care costs are going to go up. Well, yeah, health care costs are going up, period, as many of you have seen in recent news articles, and many of you may have even gotten your health care insurance premium bills. I know for my small company, we saw a fairly big increase in healthcare premium. And I recognize healthcare premiums are based, at least on a corporate level, based more on age and the number of employees rather than what goes on in the individual market. In the individual market, insurance costs are skyrocketing because you have a very, very small pool of people who participate in the individual market, and with the need to insure all manner of ailments and a small pool, costs are skyrocketing. I did not realize in the individual pool in the state of Minnesota, there are only, there are under 200,000 people participate in the individual market. That is teeny, tiny, and that accounts for, a good portion of the increase, not to mention, of course, increased usage means the insurance companies want to make sure that they at least cover their costs. That means prices for insurance are only going up. Say in the last 2 years, at least in my small company, the insurance cost for my plan has gone up a third, which is the highest increase since the introduction of Obamacare. Just something to think about, going forward in your budgeting. That said, again, I'm not running out and buying, insurance company stocks, nor am I recommending them, as I tended to focus. I do focus on companies involved in the internet, companies involved in leisure, China-related businesses, and real assets such as real estate. Well, the internet companies, as we've explained, have pretty much been on a tear around artificial intelligence. And of course, the billionaire class is trying to scare the millionaire class and the multi-$100,000 class out of investing in internet-related and artificial intelligence-related stocks, saying they are in a bubble. Yes, I won't deny that many of them are very expensive on a price-to-sales and price-to-earnings basis. But I don't believe we are in, bubblicious territory, but we are at a higher end of valuation. It wouldn't hurt, of course, to take a little bit off the table, or at least your cost basis and then some off the table for profit and, of course, safety. But artificial intelligence and those companies around that still, in my estimation, have a very long way to go. Heck, all you have to do is witness the amount of money that's being invested by some of these companies. OpenAI, still a private company, has invested well in excess of $1 trillion in companies like NVIDIA, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. Advanced Micro Devices got a big boost on news of OpenAI's investment in the company so that they could buy AMD chips. That initially hurt NVIDIA, but I think NVIDIA, at least on a PE basis, has come way down, and they're still a leader, artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, Oracle today reported that their renting of NVIDIA chips has been a money-losing business for them, and that has hurt Oracle stock, which has had a huge run-up, again, on artificial intelligence. Additionally, Oracle is going to get a little piece of TikTok USA, but that any earnings from that are still, way in the future. I would not be running away necessarily from artificial intelligence or companies around that, but I would be taking at least my cost basis off the table.
Excellent advice, as always, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952 888-925-5608, where you always get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Chris.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.